How you doing, everyone? So listen, I took it off Saturday and Sunday. I didn't go work out, and usually I never miss out on Sundays. And I decided not to go work out, and guess what? I felt even worse. I don't know. There's something about me taking time off from working out. Like every time I miss the weekend, when it starts off the weekdays, starting off, I like to start off my weeks on Sundays. Because Monday, I got up, I didn't have no energy, I didn't have no drive. I didn't feel like working out, but I went anyway because I already had missed 2 days. So I went and I worked out for an hour. I always in my mind I say I'm going to work out 2 hours, but I get there. Once I work out for an hour, tongue hanging out, I don't want to do no more, and that's it. It's the same thing what I do when I'm going to go write something. You know, always write down everything I'm gonna say. When I get to that point, it's like I don't know, what I'm gonna say. It's like I get lost for words. But I developed this routine to where I go work out the whole week. I take off Saturdays and I go work out Sundays. But for some reason, I didn't feel right at the moment for me to go work out on Sunday, so I stood home. And on Monday, I got up in such excruciating pain. I couldn't take. I couldn't even hardly walk. To tell you the truth, and that's one thing that gets me very, very upset because it's the only thing that I have that holds me back from really reaching my full potential. And it's that pain, of having them surgeries that you go through. When you have a hernia, which is called, when they put the hernia mesh. And I know because in Facebook, there's a lot of people that have certain, issues with these hernia meshes where they put them on and then eventually they start giving you infections and the pain that you go through, you know. And this is what I deal with, from day to day basis. This is all the time, This pain just drives me crazy, but I try not to let it stop me from doing what I do because after I go work out, for some reason, when I'm working out and after I finish is where I start feeling better. I don't feel the pain as much. But if I don't do anything, forget about it. I go through the pain the whole day, and maybe the next day, and depending because when you're like that, you know when it's gonna rain, when it's gonna snow, you know, because of the weather. The weather changes, it gets worse on them days when it's raining or it's cold, you know. Um, so I just decided that I was gonna post um something else for a change, but I said to myself, you know what? No, because consistency is key. When you talk about a topic, you got to stay on that subject because you already created your niche, you know, and the people that listen to you is people that listen to you, you know, concerning that particular subject, working out, weight gain, weight loss, nutrition, and I try to educate those as far as to let them know, you know, um, what helped me, you know, in my approach, with these workouts and eating the right stuff and eating the right foods. I had to leave a lot of things alone as far as bread, pasta, what I'm saying? All them foods that I used to love to eat, I had to just put to the side and say no. And it's something that it wasn't easy at the beginning because, I was cheating here and there. But, as I went along, it gets easier and easier. Um, and, and I want to stay on that subject, even though once in a while I might change up because let me tell you, working out is not only working out the body, it's also working out the mind. You know what I'm saying? If you don't work out the mind, the body ain't going to follow. So you got to be positive up here because this is where it starts. You know, sometimes we don't accomplish our goals for the simple reason that we put barriers within ourselves, our way of thinking, you know. And it starts off where, no, I can't do that. No, I'm not going to do this. No, I'm going to try. Try is to fail, you know. And I started looking at these videos. I don't know if y'all um, watch these videos where they talk about um, talking things into existence, like, how you call, what is it that they say? Um, think it, right? Think it and bringing it to existence, meaning you got to act like you already have it in order for it to happen. I don't know how many of you believe in that, but it's just like same thing with with meditation. A lot of people that try meditation, they, oh, that doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work because you have to let it work. Meditation is something that takes time. It takes time and it takes a lot of dedication because you gotta meditate. You gotta be able to elevate yourself to a higher standard. So when you meditate, it takes time. It's gonna come with time. You gotta be patient with yourself. You know, um, just enjoy yourself meditating and being quiet. You know, and eventually you're gonna feel that meditation is gonna help you out in other areas in your life. You know, because it has helped me. I try to meditate once in a while. It helps me. It gives me clarity. You know, um, and it gets me ready. For whatever it is that I'm going to do that day. Right. But it's something that I think that everybody should try. Meditation is something that I feel is very, very helpful. Not only for the person, the mind, the way we think, the way we perceive things. Um, so I feel that if a lot of people start trying it, and with your workout, with going on a diet, meditate, man, because meditate, enforces your mind, so it helps you. It helps you in whatever it is you want to achieve. It's not only, lifting weights and doing exercises, and then, I understand, but, you got to be at that place. That's why I say that all my friends, maybe two of them used to work out and still do work out, but a lot of them didn't go to the gym. So when I started going to the gym, I started meeting new people. I started meeting people that worked out. I started people that, was dieting, taking nutritions, taking nutrigenics, total T, talking about testosterone. And this is what happens when you're around people that this is the type of environment you in. It elevates you to something else because now you want to work out. Now you want to be around people that work out, and all you want to talk about is about things of working out. You know, that's why I never looked at myself in the mirror. If you see when I go work out, I always got a sweater on or long sleeve for the simple reason that I feel that if I look at myself, I'm not going to see the progress that I need. You constantly looking at yourself and you don't see the progress. Only when other people see you, like a friend or somebody that haven't seen you in a long time. Oh, wow, man, you lost weight. Damn, you look good. And that gives you, a little push, a little boost. It makes you feel good about yourself, right? So, you know, um, I go to the gym and I do that. But today, it so happens that, once I came from the gym and, I took me my nice hot shower, and I prepared my meal, and I started combing my hair, brushing my hair, and doing what I do, and I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, wow, um, I see muscles where, there wasn't muscles before. So I know that I'm progressing, and plus I feel better about myself, and people see it. So, I'm very, very happy about that, you know, and I'm sure that you are as well. Because if you're going through the same issues and you're trying to lose weight and you're working out on a regular basis, and you're not only working on your body, you're working on your mind, on your mindset. I know that if you've been doing it for amount of time, that you're also feeling more like yourself, more elevated, and more in tune, like to where you're starting to feel good. You're starting to, look better. You're starting to talk even better. You're starting to walk better. And everything gets better. When you work out, you go on a diet, you meditate, you do things, you go and you speak to people, that are you know, doing the same thing that you're doing. You're helping each other push yourselves, what I'm saying, to that limit. But it makes you feel good. And and this is what I was trying to, saying to myself, wow, I've come a long way. And for those of you that has been following me, you know, for the varieties of all my workouts and the times that I've been posting up from the beginning, even though it hasn't been that long, because like I said, I'm only a beginner. You know, I began posting content not too long ago. And people always tell me, "Wow, you started like a month ago and you already have enough content." You know what I'm saying? Some individuals that are trying to start now don't even have as much content as you do. And at the beginning, it was taking me time for the simple reason that I was in my computer trying to make it look all fancy and everything with the colors and the background. And I until I heard a friend told me, listen, just take the camera and talk to yourself, man, because that is something that is very healthy, man. You be helping yourself, and plus you be helping others. You be helping others, man, because you don't know how many people out there, what I'm saying, that are just like you, bro. That are dying to hear somebody just say their story. What I'm saying? There's people out there having problems with their weight. They don't want to talk about it. I didn't want to talk about it because I was ashamed, or walking with a cane. Sometimes when I'm in pain, a person comes up to me and say, yo, why don't you get a cane? Listen, I used to walk with a cane. I don't want to go back. I want to move forward. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, this is something that I meditate on, and I gravitate to, man, because I don't want to lose that. I don't want to lose that little spark. you know I want to keep going, and I want to be able to help others. So if you're out there and you're listening to this and you're listening to me, I want to thank you for the bottom of my heart for at least liking my videos and subscribing to my channel, and give me a like, and I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And I'm only doing it not only to help me, but to help others, man, because there was times where I didn't have nobody to talk to, man. I didn't have nobody to talk to. You know what? I started taking the phone, like my friend said, take the phone and talk to yourself and record yourself, man. And by doing that, you're helping people out there. And I started doing that, man. And believe it or not, it started helping me in a lot of ways, man. So if it helped me in a lot of ways, I know it's trying to help somebody out there also, man. I'm trying to help people out there also, man, that maybe don't have a voice. Maybe, what I'm saying, are scared to say anything. You know, I'm here to tell you that, leave your comments in the comment section, man. I'll get back to you, or make a video, man. Start speaking, start putting it out there. I guarantee you, once you start doing it and you start moving along, you're going to feel much better. You're going to have more energy. You're going to start taking all that feeling that you had suppressed within yourself. You're going to put it out there. And once you put it out there, it's not yours any longer, man. And you're gonna start feeling better about yourself, man. And not only you, but you're gonna start making people feel better that's around you. You understand? Because you're gonna start thinking different. Like I said, you're gonna start acting different, talking differently, and this all comes as one, man. You know, the mental, the health. It's like they say, body, mind, and soul, man. It's all three connections. You gotta give it vitamins, man. You got to give the body vitamins. You got to give the mind vitamins, And the vitamins to the mind is, meditation, things you think about, things you say, things you do, you know, what reality you're in, what is it that you're doing with yourself, with your life, what is it that you're doing for others, you know, and this is it, man, you know, and this is what I'm trying to put out there. And I have friends, certain friends, and where I go to, like I said, man, you know, go to WhatsApp, go to Planet Fitness 77 Broadway. You have people there that are doing the same thing, man, that are working out, going on diets, taking nutrition, and they're there and they're talking about it. They're getting together. They're doing groups, on this topic, and you're welcome. You know, um, I have friends that support me at all times. I try to let them know everything that I'm doing, the blessings I have, and the blessings I've been having because of you. Because without you, I'm nobody. Without the Lord, I'm nobody. We got to put Him first, because without Him, there is no we. You know. But all I can tell you is, man, keep moving forward, man. Face it head on. You can do it, man. Get up in the morning, meditate, or dedicate yourself to do something, one little thing every day, man. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's not a race, it's a journey. May God bless you and your families. Have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.